Hello everybody, my name is Charles. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create realistic rain in Photoshop. Let's make it rain. The first thing we need to do is create a pattern, something that looks like rain. And there's a lot of ways to do this, but luckily Photoshop has something built in and we can use that. Let's see how that looks. I'm going to come up here to File, New, and create a 10 by 10 custom document. This is a new document we're creating. Say create, and now if you come up here to actions and under image effects, there's something called light rain. So I'm going to select that in my actions panel and click on the play button. I'm going to disable my background layer, and there is our pattern that we're going to use. So now we need to make it look a little bit more like rain. So I'm going to get a levels adjustment, and I'm going to take the slider on the left and bring that over a little bit and zoom in here. You can see the rain, and we're going to rename this layer rain, and we can add a little bit of motion blur to this. If you come up here to filter, blur, motion blur, and the distance is what you would use to move some of that around. I'm going to put that about 80 degrees or minus 80 degrees, and you can adjust this distance until you see that it looks like a nice looking rain, and say OK. So now I'm just going to merge this levels layer into the rain layer. Command E. So now we need to copy this over into our working image. So on the rain layer, if I say Command C and bring it over here to our image we're going to work in, Command V, and there is our rain layer. In fact, we're going to call this small rain. Now that we have our rain sample here in our image, let's scale it up. Control Command T, and if we hold down the Alt or Option and the Shift key, and we can scale from the center, we're going to make this about the same size as our document here, and click the check mark. Now we're going to change the blend mode of the small rain layer to screen. Now let's change the direction of the rain. I think with the way the umbrella is pointing, and I see some moisture back here on the bushes and at the top of the umbrella, and the angle that she's holding this, I think it might look better if the rain were kind of coming down in the other direction. So I'm going to say Command T, right click, and flip this horizontal. And up here in the top corner, you can see I have a two-sided arrow, and that means that I can rotate my rain. I'm going to rotate it a little bit here, reduce the size here, I can pan over, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger also, and click my check mark. So there's the small rain, there's before and there's the after, and if need be you can fine-tune this rain by bringing up another levels adjustment. This little icon right here, it will allow you to clip the levels adjustment to the layer below, so that when you adjust it, you're just affecting the small rain layer. And in this case, you can change the midpoint slider and you can make it show up a little bit more, something like that. Now what we're going to do is, this is the small rain. We're actually going to put that rain behind her and the umbrella to give this image a little bit more depth. So I'm going to make a copy of the background layer, Command J, and I'm going to use the select subject, and Photoshop is doing its thing. It selected the subject pretty good, but now I want to actually select the umbrella too. So I'm going to come up here and use the quick selection tool. Use my right bracket to make my brush a little bit bigger, and just bring this out and select the umbrella just like that, and come down here to add layer mask, hold my Alt or Option key down, and now I have a layer mask. And so that I can have the small rain behind her, I'm going to copy the mask to this small rain layer up here. First I'm going to click on this chain right here so that this layer mask is no longer linked. I'm going to hold the Alt or Option down and drag the layer mask up. I'm going to disable the subject layer because I really don't need it. But now you can see that the small rain is behind her, and you can make adjustments to any of these sliders on the levels adjustment on that particular rain layer. Hey, if you're getting value out of this so far, hit that like button. If we duplicate this small rain layer, Command J, and bring it all the way up to the top. Make sure you don't lose your clipping on the layers below. Let's call this large rain. And I don't need this layer mask here. So now to make the rain a little bit more believable, what we can do is transform the large rain layer and kind of rotate it, and we're going to stretch it out a little bit. So Command T, and we can rotate it a little bit. Guess not all rain goes in the same direction. And pull it out a little bit to make it a little bit bigger. You can move it, click the check mark, and if need be, add a levels adjustment layer and clip it to that layer below. And if you have too much rain, you can increase the left hand slider with the shadows, or you can adjust the midpoint. You see that? Adjust in midpoint, it'll bring in more to whatever you're liking it. And if at any time you can go back to any of the rain layers and you can reduce the opacity. It's way too much, but you can reduce the opacity if it looks like it's too much on any of these layers, any of the rain layers. Also on this large rain, you can add some more motion blur. Come up here to filter, blur, motion blur, and you can add a little bit of motion blur. Now if you need more rain, like in this case with the small rain behind her, would select the small rain layer and its accompanying levels adjustment. Say Command J, and you can see there was more rain back there. So that's how you would add more rain. And if I think there's too much on this small rain copy, I can bring my opacity down just a little bit. So that's how you would add more rain. Just duplicate these layers. And you can also transform the layers. You can angle the rain so it doesn't have the same pattern. So you can rotate it, you can stretch it more. You can get really creative with the way this rain looks so it doesn't look like it's coming down in the same direction, in the same patterns. In fact, I wanted to make that one bigger. And we don't even need this subject layer no more. And shift click all of your rain layers. Say Command G to group them together. Call it rain. Let's add a color lookup adjustment layer. And let's choose something like teal orange. And let's take down the opacity and give it a little look there. There's no rain, and there's the rain. It's before, and there's the after. If you want to know more about Photoshop, click on this playlist here. If you haven't already, subscribe and like this video. And remember, it's never too late to learn. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.